Hey everyone, today I have a very special guest, my daughter. Hi, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Hailey, and today we are going to talk about the wild robot.
Yes, we enjoyed reading this book together. It was so much fun, right, Hailey?
Right.
Yeah. How long do you think it took to read the book?
It took like a lot of days.
Yeah, I think it was
finish
a couple months, yeah?
Yeah.
We read maybe three times or four times a week, usually before going to sleep. And what did we do yesterday? What did we do yesterday?
We watched the movie.
Yeah, we went to the cinema and we watched the movie because we finished the book just in time to go watch the movie. So today, in this video, we are going to talk about some of the aspects about the book, my thoughts and also Hailey's thoughts about the book, and also about the movie. So we definitely hope you enjoy this video today. Right?
Right.
Alright, Hailey, so what is The Wild Robot by Peter Brown about?
It's about a robot that is like in a crate, and then it crashed into an island, and the island only had animals there. Name of the robot was Roz. So Roz climbed up a mountain because there was a very tall wave.
So what did Roz first do when she woke up from the crate? And actually, who woke her up?
The otter.
Yeah, the otters were very curious about what this thing was, so they started climbing all over it. And how did Roz get turned on?
Because there was an otter that like pushed a button.
Yeah, on the back of the head.
Yeah.
Good. So what did Roz first do when she woke up?
She said, "Do you need assistance?"
Yeah. Why does she say, "Do you need assistance"?
Because Roz is for helping people.
Exactly. And what do you think some of the differences were in the book and the movie?
The differences of the book and the movie is a very big difference.
What's one of the differences?
One of the differences, there's only 3 Ricos. Rico 1, Rico 2, Rico 3.
And in the movie?
In the movie, there were like 8 Ricos that had like a bunch of eyes, right?
Yeah, especially the leader one. So, explain what that is.
This is Roz in the movie. This
is what Roz looks like in the movie.
And this.
Here's another drawing that she drew. This is what Roz looks like in the book.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like a rock, right?
Right.
Cool. I think one of the major differences that I noticed between the design of Roz in the movie and the book was like Roz in the movie had many more gadgets.
Yes.
Right? Like the hologram, the arms can stretch really far, the legs too, right?
Right.
All right, so some of my thoughts about the book and basically the summary of the book and the movie. Well, of course, Roz was on a cargo ship across the ocean, and there was a big storm that caused many of the Rosums to fall off the ship, and basically about, I think, 6 Rosums I think landed on that island, but only one survived, and that was the Rosum that we know, Roz. And yeah, so she woke up and she had to learn how to survive on the island, as normally she would be in a household taking care of like the family and doing the chores and things like that. So she's in a totally new environment that she's not really designed to live in. And at first, like, she just gets beat up by nature, like the bears and other the weather itself. There was like a flood in the book that didn't show up in the movie, and she had to learn how to adapt and communicate with the animals. I guess she had the strongest ability to learn the language of the animals, which I thought was pretty interesting, right, Hailey?
Right.
So how did she learn how to communicate with the animals?
She was sitting for a long time, and she was just
Analyzing
the animals speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then eventually she could translate that language, and then she was able to speak to all of the animals. And one of the biggest difference in the book compared to the movie was the fact that she gradually made friends in the book. Like the beavers were the first friends she made, right?
And also the fox.
Yeah, the fox, she made a friend by plucking out a porcupine needles.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the fox's nose. Yeah?
Yeah.
So one of the best things that the book does that the movie doesn't really do that well, partly because, when you adapt a movie from a book, you only have, especially for a kid's movie, which usually doesn't last as long. I think this one was like an hour and 45 minutes or something like that. It moved along really quickly in the movie, whereas the book had more time to explain and teach, actually. The book does a good job of teaching vocabulary such as migration. You learned the word migration from this book, right, Hailey?
Right.
What does migration mean?
Migration means that in the winter, a gooseling will fly into another island so that they're safe.
Mm-hmm. So it was explained explicitly in the book, had an actual definition of the word migration, but done in a fun and engaging way in the story. Whereas the movie, it was more implicit. Yeah, it showed the birds migrating away before winter came. And also it had the book had some messages about climate change. The leader goose, Longneck, I think his name was, right?
Yes.
He was explaining that every year the weather was getting worse and worse, and this was the worst that they've ever experienced before. And so that was probably due to climate change. And so interesting stuff for sure. And also there was another great scene that they showed in the movie that was actually in the book as well, which was the winter scene. What happened in the winter scene with the lodge?
They put all of the animals in the
Who's they?
lodge.
Who's they? Which character?
Fink and Roz gather up the animals to the lodge.
Mm-hmm. The lodge, or the nest, as they call it in the book and the movie, is where Roz and Brightbill. We forgot to mention about Brightbill. That's the whole purpose of the story. Who's Brightbill?
Brightbill is a gooseling, and Roz...
How did Roz become the mother of Brightbill?
Because Roz picked an egg up.
Because accidentally?
Because she accidentally killed the mother and the father of Brightbill, and the brothers and the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brightbill was the only survivor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so she kind of felt guilty. The movie didn't really do that good of a job of showing her guilt. Whereas the book, it's oh, this is my responsibility now because I accidentally took this gooseling's family's life away. And so now I have to raise this child. So the book also has a good message about parenthood and what it means, that there's no guidebook about how to be a parent or anything like that. So yeah, that how would you describe the relationship between Brightbill and Roz? Is their relationship good or bad?
Good.
And why is it good?
Because Roz takes care of the goosling.
Even though she's not really designed to take care of the gooseling, she does her best, and she tries to teach him how to swim,
Fly,
and eat. Yeah.
and egg.
So there comes to a point after winter and after the geese come back to the island that they, the animals and Roz decide to have a party together. And the party was like a big bonfire. And this huge bonfire was like a wild, crazy animal party. They were hooting and howling and having a bunch of fun. And off in the distance, in the ocean, what is out there, Hailey?
There was
From the book, not in the movie. Yeah.
There was a ship.
Yeah, a ship that could see the huge fire and could also see the robot, Roz. And so basically this cruise ship, oh yeah, thanks for showing. Yeah, there we go. This cruise ship sees Roz and then notifies Dynamic Industries, I think it was called, or something like that. Dynamic Industries, the people that made Roz, notifies them that there's a robot in the middle of this island. And so some Ricos get sent. As Hailey mentioned Ricos earlier in the video, Ricos get sent. There's 3 of them in the book. And basically their mission is to collect all of the robot pieces because there was 5 other robots that were on the island. But Roz is the only survivor. They came there to get Roz and bring her back. The book does a great job of killing off each one of the Ricos one by one. Which one dies first?
Rico 3 died first.
Yeah, and then Rico 2, and then Rico 1. And slightly different from in the movie. The movie has some evil female robot or something like that captures Roz, and then Roz escapes, but then decides to go back to the human world because she was warned that the Ricos would just keep on coming, and so she doesn't want to endanger her whole island of animal friends. So she decides to go, but she promises. She makes a promise. What promise does she make, Hailey?
She promises that she will never forget Brightbill.
And that she will do her best to come back to her home, which is
The island.
the island. Yeah, the wild robot, as she calls herself directly in the book and in the movie too. So overall, I think it's a great book, and it's also a great movie. And I think that you should definitely watch it and read it. The Wild Robot! Yay! You know, I've also have to say that experiencing reading that book with that girl down there was awesome. We just had a really good time reading together and sharing the story together, talking about the story, and sometimes I would like have her recap the story and talk about the messages of the story and what she learned about the story. I highly recommend doing some reading with your child in the future. If you haven't started doing it, start at birth, basically. Because reading to your child helps them in the long run, gets them in the habit of reading even before they can read. Because, yeah, then they can listen to the story and kids can speak before they can actually read. So, yeah, do you remember me reading to you when you were little, before you could read?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Read to your kids. Bye.